Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 8. And yes, of course, that is the final season of Arrow, and I know people have been saying, Pagey, can you please stop reminding us that it's the final season of Arrow because it's making our hearts hurt and get really sad? Well, you must be new to the channel because I love messing with people's emotions. So yeah, final season, let that ring in your head for a bit. But speaking of messing with our emotions and making us feel very sad, there was actually no Arrow this week, unfortunately. So yeah, people were asking like, where's the new Arrow episode? Where's the Flash episode? And I was like, well, they just weren't on. So yeah. But when we come back for, Arrow, when it comes back in the next coming week, we will be coming back with episode 5, which is otherwise entitled, and let me just warm up my fantastic Russian accent. It's otherwise entitled Prognost. Obviously, we're going to Russia for basically the continuation of the whole weapon to use against the Monitor. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you like that storyline? I'm not too sure. I saw some people sort of complaining about it. What are your thoughts on it? But of course, episode 5 will also see the return of both Roy Harper, aka Arsenal, as well as Anatoly Kanayazev. They're coming back, and should be pretty enjoyable. But of course, throughout the video, let me know your various opinions in the comments section down below with what we go over, because there's a lot of stuff here which I'm sure is going to be, well, I'm interested to see what you guys have to say, because I think it might drive an opinion piece from a couple of people, so I'm interested to see what you guys have to say and what you think and what you like and don't like. Let me know in the comments section down below, and of course, if any of this gets you excited, why not show your support by liking the video and, showing your hype and support, if that makes sense. But anyway, by the time you actually watch this video, and by the time the video comes out, Arrow would have wrapped. So Stephen Amell did tweet out this, and also like Beth Schwartz, James Bamford, and Mark Guggenheim tweeted out when the show had officially wrapped filming. But Stephen Amell put this out. He put out, words can't even begin to express what Arrow has meant to me. Best 8 years of my life. The cast and crew of the show have become my family. I'm going to miss them. I'm wrapped. Now, following this, Beth and Mark both tweeted out the show had wrapped. I've heard there's meant to be something that happens maybe around the time this video comes out. It might just be an exterior shot without any of the actors. I think there was something scheduled for like the Vancouver public, but maybe they scrapped that. I don't know. But apparently, according to Steven and the people behind the show, Arrow has officially wrapped. Now, just a quick retrospective on Arrow from me. I'll probably mention this like later down the track, probably early next year when the last episode is about to air. But, I remember back in 2011, 2012 when they announced that this was happening. I think it was late 2011 when they said that this show was in development. And then 2012 it started picking up steam and those castings and stuff. I was super excited. Obviously, not obviously, but if you've watched my channel, you'll know that Green Arrow is my favorite hero. Like, it's a bit of an obscure hero to be your favorite. Not completely obscure, but definitely, like, everyone's like, oh, I love Batman, I love Superman, I love the Flash, Green Lantern, stuff like that. Green Arrow was always my favorite. So as soon as they announced the show, I was like in for it, and I was going to be in for it for the long run. Pretty much no matter what happened. So obviously we had issues with like, the last handful of episodes of season 3 were just turned like from like an 8 out of 10 to pretty much like a 4 out of 10. And then, well, speaking of 4 out of 10s, we had season 4, which just wasn't very good. So there was your ups with Arrow, early seasons, and then even some of the later seasons. But then you had your downs, like, back half of season 3 and season 4. But I stuck with it because I just, the cast and characters I just thought was so, worked so well together. But seeing the show come to a wrap is actually pretty sad, just because I've been sticking around with it since even before it started filming. So just seeing it come to an end right now is, it's definitely bittersweet. But like, we got 7.5 seasons, I guess. We'll just say 8 seasons of a show that, for a vast majority of the time was great. So I'm going to miss it. I would have loved to keep going, get supernatural numbers, but I don't think that was ever going to happen. Good on Stephen Amell for going to do some other stuff. And I think now is the time. Like, if you can end it around Crisis, like the biggest thing the Arrowverse is ever going to do, I think that's, you made Arrow like the focal point of it. So I think that's the best way to go out. But in a more like retrospective mood as well, Mark Guggenheim on like the, I guess to honor the last couple of days of filming, actually released sort of like the original pilot, setup or like script and like details and stuff like that. Now we'll leave a link to it in the description down below because it's like Word documents and it's weird to put in a video. It's hard to like keep them up there long enough so you can read them. So I will leave the link to it in the description. But the main thing of interest is that there was obviously no Felicity. Felicity was never planned. Felicity was a cameo that turned into a main role. But there was no Diggle either. But Stanley Dover was there as one of the original cast members. And he was pretty much going to be the Felicity, like the sort of like the tech person. Now the description they gave Stanley Dover was brilliant, but a bit eccentric. Our computer and technology savant will learn that Stanley has a history with all of his father, which explains why he's the first person Oliver recruits for his crusade. Now, Stanley Dover, if you don't remember, was the guy in jail or in prison last season with Oliver, who ended up becoming like the Star City Slayer and was like a serial killer, which is what he is in the comics. And it would have been cool if he was actually in the show originally, because they could have done like a story arc where he was like, working with Oliver, and maybe he was going around doing all this serial killer stuff and covering up his own tracks by maybe leading Oliver down a different path, so Oliver never suspected it was Stanley Dover, which would have been insanely cool. Now, this is actually pretty interesting that this character, is pretty much the male Felicity, or Felicity turned into like the female version of this character, because Emily Bett Rickards was constantly saying that she wanted to be a villain. She didn't want to. Pretty much how Felicity's arc ended on the show, Emily Bett Rickards was against in like multiple interviews in regards to like, her getting pregnant and just being used to get a baby, to give a baby. She wanted to become like the calculator. She wanted to like inherit her father's mantle and become the calculator and become another villain in Star City. Would have been cool to see that. But speaking of Felicity, I'm not too sure if this is 100% true, but people are saying that actually Emily Bett Rickards only shot one scene, that she was only there for one day of filming, which is this last day of Arrow. I don't know if they would do that. I think they might have her there for more than one scene, but maybe they just have it where she just comes back to honor what's happening, which we will go over in a second, and then she just goes because of, the predicament and like situation that Felicity's in, so maybe that's what they're going for there. But speaking of stuff on set, Canada Graphs, our favorite maple bacon eating Canadian, actually released some set photos from this around this final day of shooting, which has a group of people honoring something. Now, a bit of a spoiler, so if you don't want to continue, don't continue, obviously, but I will leave the link to Canada Graph's blog in the description, which gives us many more photos and more details. But essentially, the meat and potatoes of it is that there's a Green Arrow statue and a bunch of people gathered around it. So I will put it on screen right now. It's not amazing quality because Canada Graphs really couldn't get close to it. They really kept a lot of it sort of sheltered, if that makes sense. So pretty much had to go like on the other side of a lake to get some photos of it. But you should be able to see it, like a decent look at it. And it's pretty much very reminiscent of the Black Canary one from, I guess, season 5, episode 1, I think it was. Or was it end of season 4? Whenever it was. The one that they gave to, obviously, Laurel from Earth 1. Now, this isn't in the same area. I think it's in a different area. I think it's actually in the park where Oliver proposed to Felicity back in season 4, I think it was. I don't know if that's intentional or not, or just a park where it was good to put the statue. But in regards to who is in the finale and who is gathered around this statue, from what Canada Graphs is saying, there was around like 25, 30 plus trailers on set, and all of them were for the actors. So that is a lot of people in this scene in particular with the statue, but also potentially just in this finale in general. Obviously, with people on the other shows, it might be hard to get them to be in this finale for any significant amount of time, just because they're shooting their own shows, and obviously Flash and stuff and Legends were filming at this time throughout this week. But you can get them for like one night to, come and do this stuff. So, and even people behind the show, like James Bamford, mentioned that they were filming a scene or scenes with the most actors they'd ever done before on the show, even like competing with crossover. So that's pretty insane. But in regards to specific people that are in this finale, going off the set photos, it does look like the Flash is there in his suit as well, because it does look like Roy Harper / Arsenal's there in his suit as well. This was something I was saying before, whether it was a funeral or just a memorial thing at a statue or something like that. It would have been cool if it was very like Death of Superman-esque, where they had all the heroes there in their suits. They didn't show up as like Barry Allen or Roy Harper or, just their normal, personas. They come as their heroic personas, their superheroes in their suits and stuff. And that's what it sort of looks like in these set photos, even though they are really, really hard to make out. And I say the Flash and Arsenal specifically because they're red, so it's easy to pick up. But we know that Sarah Lance is there. Katie Lotz put heaps of stuff on her Instagram story with her filming Arrow. Joe Dinnicole is back as Rory Regan, aka Ragman. Don't know if he's back as Ragman or just Rory Regan. Have to wait and see. Thea Coyne is back. Obviously, I mentioned Felicity. Apparently, Nissa Al Ghul is back as well. There isn't any physical proof of that, but it seems she is back from what people are saying. So maybe don't treat that as like concrete information, but that's what people are saying. But that's an example of some of the people there. Obviously, you can expect a lot of people from Arrow's past to be there, but in regards to people from the other shows, it might be hit or miss. Like, who knows if Ruby Rose will be there as Batwoman, or, more of the Legends of Tomorrow, like, Brandon Routh will be there as Ray Palmer or something like that. That's for us to wait and find out in the episode. But you never know, they might do a group shot, but they might want to keep that a bit under the rug, if that makes sense. But essentially in this scene with the statue, I would expect a decent amount of the heroes that survived Crisis and that were there for the final Crisis thing. Obviously, we don't know the fallout of Crisis, like do the Earths merge? Is Supergirl now on Earth 1? If that's the case, she could be there. But I'd expect at least the ones that are specifically on Oliver's Earth will be there in honor and memory of Oliver and what happened. Like, this should be an iconic and just, well, like, great and emotional scene, or scenes that happen here. And I'm excited to see how they go about it. Now, Katie Lotz did post something on an Instagram story which showed a scene with Catherine McNamara in her bed. It's just a scene with her. Now, people are wondering how they're going to end this show. Are they going to end it with literally setting up the spin-off? Now, that's my biggest fear. And I've mentioned this before, and people seem to disagree with me. I don't know, if you're an Arrow fan, I don't know how you could disagree with me. I really don't want them to spend too much of this back half of the season being a backdoor pilot. Like, let episode 9 be the backdoor pilot, but don't let a segment of every single episode be a setup for the spin-off, because that takes away from Arrow. I really hope, like, Mia can be there. Like, it looks like they're improving Mia's character, which, thank the Lord. But hopefully everything's not a setup for the spin-off, because the spin-off might not even happen. Like, imagine the spin-off doesn't even happen, and we look back and go, why did we do that? You know, it would be so annoying. Just let episode 9 be the spin-off episode, and then every other episode just be Arrow. Don't let it be a setup for something else that might not even happen. Yeah, I think that's pretty much to go over. As I said, check out Canada Graph's blog for all the photos I didn't go over and all the details I didn't go over. What are your thoughts? Are you excited for this? Are you getting a bit emotional that Arrow's coming to an end, especially because now it's done filming, essentially, give or take another couple of hours after this video is uploaded. But yeah, it's going to be sad when the actual show ends, but you know, it'll be a nice moment. You know, a show that really did change a lot of stuff for TV, not in regards to DC TV, but just comic book television in general. Like, those who want to deny it, but it's actually true. Like, this really did heavily influence like the Marvel Netflix, especially like Daredevil and all of that. So yeah. It's going to be sad. But if you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you drop a like and let me know your various opinions in the comments section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.